Hey guys, welcome back! And a very warm welcome it is. I have been away for a minute. Alright guys, so we're going to get right back into it here now just to show you on the map where we're at and what we are doing. So we are heading to the Sky Archipelagos here in what is it, Tabantha? So basically it's not discovered, so I don't have the words there yet. But this is the Tabantha Sky Archipelago. Now I don't know exactly where the hard limit is. The islands I'm mostly interested in are here. But, you know, I'm going to go get, you know, some radiating islands because, again, I just don't know exactly where these fall in. There's no clear, you know, country borders, map boundaries, anything of that nature. So anyway, what I personally normally like to do is warp back to my wind temple. And as soon as you do that, you'll be back on the giant Viking ship there. Simply jump off to one side or the other, preferably this side somewhere. And then you're going to have to go boat hopping again, the exact same way you did it. When we first, you know, went through the Tulin adventure and we had to get up there in the first place. So you'll have to jump on top of each sail, get to a higher level of boats, circling around and, you know, rinse, lather, and repeat until you eventually get all the way to the very top row of boats and then you can't go any higher. Go ahead and trampoline yourself one more time off that top boat and then all you have to do is simply fly, and guys, you're going to have to make landfall here. So I know that's a bit, you know, far, so make sure you have some stamina packed if you're going to do it that way. You'll definitely want to have some stamina to make sure you can actually make that distance. Also, make sure you're using the power of Tulin's Sneeze the whole way. That'll give you a little bit more horizontal movement, and that'll really ensure you'll be able to make landfall here. Now, you might even get, you know, a little bit short, but still you'll be able to make the island. So, you know, you might have to latch onto the sidewall there and climb a little. Just all the more reason to have plenty of stamina packed. Alright guys, so anyway, you know, I'm trying to consider all levels of players, and maybe some folks are here and they're like, wait a minute, I don't have that temple yet, you know, how else do you do it? So I'm actually going to show you another way where you can do it with some Zonai devices and get over there pretty reliably. So just to kind of show you what I did here, I went ahead and got the Skyview Tower here at Lidner's Brow. Hopefully you've got that unlocked. It's a pretty early game area there, so if you haven't, feel free to hot-foot it on over. And once you go ahead and get that activated, go ahead and launch. So again, if you're coming from the Wind Temple, you'll have to make landfall here, but that's not our ultimate destination, and try to avoid the constructs and stuff so you can just jump down and start flying again. But where I'm really trying to go is right here. So there's a shrine pedestal there we can activate and get a travel gate. And then from there, we're going to kind of go out in a star pattern, you know, and do some different things. But we'll definitely need that travel gate activated so we can kind of get around while we're up here. Okay, now before I hit that yellow mark, that's not accessible from the Skyview Tower just yet. So go ahead and launch, and you're going to see this great big, tall, ridiculous Sky Island structure right in front of us, slightly to the left. And that is what we are looking for. Now, of course, you know, as soon as I said that, there was a cloud right smack dab in the way. But, yeah, so it's about, you know, southwest from where we launched from. And, guys, I've done this little stack of islands here in a previous video. But just in case you're, you know, just now joining in, welcome. I'll kind of show you what's up here just real quick. There's a terminal you can activate there. So after you activate that, you'll have to jump through some rings, and it's pretty self-guided. Once you get to the bottom, you know, that'll do the whole shrine deal. Then you can come back up to the top and do like another challenge. When you get to the bottom down there, close to where the shrine's going to be, look for a construct and he'll activate that quest for you. That'll teleport you back up top side here, and then you'll be able to, you know, do that challenge. But it's exactly the same as what you had already done. The difference is you'll be timed and you'll have to do it a lot quicker. Alright, so enough about that. Make sure you get all your, you know, loose lootables here. But, okay, so here's that terminal I was talking about. But, you know, if you're with me in my walkthrough here, what we're going to do is go over to my yellow mark, which is that away. And to get there, I've got a handy-dandy little device. Okay, so you're going to want a 3-fan setup on this one. Reason being is you're going to want the lift to get the altitude we're going to need to get over there. Now, I've made it with 2. You know, so if you don't want to cook the fans or you want to save the Zonite, this is doable with 2. So keep that in mind. And actually, maybe I'll just go ahead and demonstrate it with 2. That way I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, go ahead and stick that rocket on that snap point back there. And we're gonna nestle this sucker in, just kind of funny-like. It'll look funny, but it'll make sense here in just a moment. Okay, and we're gonna kind of rest the rocket on the stairs and the plane itself on that pillar. And there's some wiggle room there, so if it's not lined up exactly like my game, just try setting it down, see what happens. You know, you should be able to find that pretty quickly, though. Okay, so just go ahead and launch our skyrocket plane thingy. And the reason I like that angle is because it gives you real good altitude. And it gives you forward motion, so it gets you really up here where we need to be. Now from here, you still need to get more altitude. But try not to just crank back on that joystick. Try to find that, you know, soft spot on there where you're getting altitude, but it's not real parabolic. Okay, now you're not going to make this on the battery power that we have. And even if you got the Zonai suit and stuff, you're still going to have to eat a charge, and that's okay. There's literally nothing else I'd rather do with these things than get myself across Hyrule. Okay, so now again, you know, try not to make it too parabolic. I'm trying to level this thing off a little bit, but still getting some altitude on the way. So now, if you did the three-fan plane, you'd actually be able to make that taller island, but we're not going to go there just yet. Once we get to the one I'm really trying to get us to, there will be that travel gate, and not only that, there's one of those launch pillars. I don't know what else to call it. Okay, now, you don't have to get to it, you just got to get close, because as soon as you get to a certain point, bam, low gravity, so you are right as rain. Alright guys, so now assuming you made your journey here, and you notice I got stamina to spare at this point. There's that launch block thingy I was talking about. Let's just call it the concrete launcher thing. And then that travel gate I mentioned is going to be right here. Now this particular shrine quest is linked to a Flux 3 construct. And we're going to be killing 2 of those bad boys in this video. Or maybe 3, actually? I don't know, we'll figure that out part when I come to it, but for right now, yeah, definitely there's going to be 2. Now that we've got our travel gate, we are free to move about the country. Another reason I like to get this, there's a real troublesome Korok seed around here. And you have to dive off the sky island to get it. And having not thought that through on my first playthrough, I, you know, dove off after it. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I gotta go back up there. So yeah, that cost me another fan plane and a rocket. That was a good time. Alright guys, so yeah, that's the travel gate there. There might be some loose lootables around, so you know, take a moment here. Now I do know that there's a hearty radish around here somewhere. So I'm gonna take a real close look for that. But before we get over there, go ahead and hit your Zonai dispenser. Okay, I always like to throw 10 into everyone I find, and that usually gets all of the things unlocked on the map, so you know what it has available. Okay, we got some mirrors. Not bad. Okay, it looks like mirror is our only new item here. Just to make sure they're all unlocked. No more question marks. We are good to go. Alright, moving right along. So I do believe that radish is over this direction somewhere. Wow, a lot of golden apples today. Okay, I'm actually only wearing 2 pieces of my stealth, but things are reacting pretty good to me right now. Oh, and don't forget your charges. There's quite a lot on these islands. And sometimes they're pretty well camouflaged. Okay, so there's that radish. Have I been marking those? I do believe I have been. They're so rare in this game. At some point, I'd like to do just like a map. Hey everybody, here's where all the radishes are. But I have a feeling I'm going to run out of stamps before that happens. And the funny thing is, if they gave me, say, 1,000 stamps, you better believe all 1,000 stamps would be at that map. And at some point it'd be like, we need more stamps. Okay, so it looks like I got, you know, the bulk of what's here to be had. Now there's another layer down here. Whoop. So that low gravity, guys, it takes some getting used to. You don't respawn as you would, you know, expect to in it. So it does take a little bit of practice. So, you know, if you're having troubles or, you know, you go jump in a certain direction, then all of a sudden you realize you're over jumping and you're going off the end of a sky island there. Which is real fun, by the way. You know, in time you'll start getting the hang of it. I would just recommend, you know, that frequent save. The key thing there was that we got our travel gate activated. So now from here I'm actually going to hop down. And there should be a goodie. That's why my treasure chest beeper keeps pinging us here. Alright folks, so from here, go ahead and take advantage of that travel gate. And now we're going to be hopping on over this direction. Now this is very deceiving. It looks like these are right next to each other and they're not. One's not even close to the other one. It's, you know, really, really high up in the sky relative to that lower one there. So what we're going to do is make landfall on the top side via, drum roll please, the concrete launcher thingy. Alright guys, so I'm going to just kind of stand on here. If I could emote right now, I would. And get a good, strong launch up into the air. That's what I mean, like, it's not going to behave as you expect in this low gravity. So, you know, you might get an insane, just absolutely insane amount of altitude off a simple spring box that you put down, for example. So if you think something's way out of your reach, it probably really isn't once you're in this low G environment. Okay, now there's another map here, and funny thing is, normally these are dangling down, you know, underneath sky chunks, or sky islands, but this one's just kind of out in the open. Now, again, you know, this is where I was talking, it's real deceiving, so you're like, well, where's the other island? Yeah, it's like way down there somewhere. And there's actually a goodie down there, so I'm going to go ahead and go on down. Now be careful not to touch the ground after you activate this. If you step off the pedestal and your feet touch this, it'll disappear. So you kind of have to be like a weird jumper on this one. Ooh, bullseye. Okay, more loose lootables. The zone I charge there for the taking. I just hit the mother load of sky shrooms. Wowzers. Alright folks, quite a lot of loose lootables here, so you know, turn that rune on, make sure you're scooping everything up. Couple of Endura shrooms there, which are really, really valuable. So yeah, good times. Alright guys, so from here that's pretty much it for this little spot. You know, the main thing down here was that Korok seed. And then, you know, that treasure chest again was topside. So once again, we're going to take advantage of our travel gate. And again, because there's no clear boundaries here, I don't know if this sky island belongs to the ones that are over here that I haven't uncovered yet. But either way, it's accessible from where we're at. So I'm going to go ahead and pin that sucker, and we're going to go straight there. And once again, drum roll please. You guessed it. Concrete launcher thingy. And guys, we got plenty of time to get there. You've got more than enough. It's like actually way below us. Now I just left low gravity, but that's not going to be a problem. I'll just go ahead and use the power of the sneeze. Alright, so I'm getting real close here. It was finally time to eat some stamina. Now, since we're out of that low gravity area, we are now free to take off our warm protection, or yeah, cold protection. Alright, so just like all my other Flux 3 construct kills, I'm going to try to get him from the air, but honestly this one's tough. That thing is center mass and hidden underneath. So it's a real tight window to get in there on this guy. And I've never found him in a different configuration here. Not to say he can't be, but wow, that's real tough to get those 3 shots in needed in order to bust him apart like this. Come on, Link, get over there, buddy. Sweet. Okay, those Sage's Wills. Yeah, we're almost ready to level up Tool in here. Matter of fact, by the time this video is done, we're gonna be. Not a bad deal in that one. Wow. Rock and roll. Okay, so once again, you guessed it. Take advantage of our travel gate. Oh yeah, gotta put our clothes back on. Alright guys, once again, concrete launcher thingy. So one thing that I wanted to showcase, and one reason I regret, you know, not putting a few months into this game before I started the video series. Normally when I'm just doing a lot of experimenting, I discover stuff. Unexpectedly, it's just kind of like, wait a minute, what was that? And, you know, I kind of have to do that and go back and, you know, experiment. Test it. Exercise it, see if it's consistent, you know, so on and so forth. So anyway, that being said, I know I've mentioned before, when you're, you know, traveling really far via paraglider, you can, you know, as long as you're cranking forward on your joystick, you can release and let go of the joystick, and the arrow, you know, it's still moving forward on the mini-map there. So, something else I noticed how fast it's moving. It doesn't slow down or anything. It's going about as fast as I was going when I was gliding. The difference is, you know, I don't keep the altitude. I'm dropping out of the sky. Anyway, that being said, check this out. Now look how much faster I'm going forward. I mean, again, you're still dropping out of the sky here. But, what a difference. So again, you know, this is really why I regret not having had that, you know, months and thousands of hours of experimentation time, playthroughs, committing everything to muscle memory. So folks, you know, thank you so much for not being angry with me when I kind of announced it was going to be some time from this part moving forward in the game. Up until the Wind Temple, I knew the game pretty well. I felt confident in doing videos. I had at least some of that stuff committed to muscle memory because, you know, of multiple repeated playthroughs getting to certain points. So, you know, that video series up to that point came out not as quick as Breath of the Wild did. You know, granted, there was still a lot of rehearsing time, running around making sure I wasn't missing Korok seeds and things of that nature. In fact, some of you might even remember. So yeah, some of you might even remember in the very beginning when I started posting these videos, I kept having to repost videos. I'd put one up and I'd be like, sorry guys, missed this, missed that, you know. Then I'd do another one. Same problem. You know, only I was missing different stuff or something. Just, you know, something I remembered on the first try backfired on the second try. And again, that's getting back to I didn't have things committed to muscle memory yet. So, you know, that being said, that's why this has taken so much longer than Breath of the Wild. And I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. So from now moving forward, when I really didn't, you know, have multiple playthroughs, now it's, you know, that's where the time gap came in. So, you know, I know a lot of folks I've talked to about this in comments already. You know, please be patient with me while I you know, get myself on par with being able to bring you the same type of guidance I was able to bring you in Breath of the Wild. So like tricks like that, I would have had figured out on day one. I would have told you, you know, that the very first time we went paragliding. So, you know, and that's just a minute thing. You know, think of all the other stuff that I have no idea what's going on with this game just yet. But I will, you know, like I said, I want to make sure I do get the time in. It's going to equate to, you know, a longer period of time getting the walkthrough posted. So, you know, that being said, again, I just appreciate your patience and thank you for not being angry with me. I know some of you guys even started games when I said I was coming back. And guys, I'm learning too. You know, I don't know that much about YouTube, really, anything at all, if I'm being honest. It's all kind of learn as I go. And I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. You know, I'm learning as I go. So if I had any inkling that, you know, that was going to happen at some point and then I was going to be really delayed getting... Wow, what is happening? Well, I'm getting really, you know... Alright. Apparently I was using the wrong button there to try to... Oh, cool. They auto-die on the water. Nice. Okay, I got sidetracked with combat there a little bit. So anyway, like I was saying, you know, just thank you for your patience and understanding. And again, if I had any inkling that it was going to come to kind of like a grinding halt like that, I would get that stuck for that long. You know, I would have cautioned folks, hey, you know, before you guys start new games, just be aware this might be a long time, you know, in the making. And honestly, again, you know, I don't know, so I'm still learning kind of thing. I honestly didn't know. Like, I thought, okay, well, Breath of the Wild only took a couple months, so sure, you know, I can get through this game, no problemo. I'll get Hogwarts done when it comes out in November. Yeah, that was like 2 months ago already. So, yeah, you know, like I said, if I had any inkling, I would have at least given y'all a heads up on that. But again, guys, I appreciate you guys spawning with love and, you know, not being angry. Thank you for your encouragement, you know, to just take the time and go ahead and get it done right. It really means a lot having your support behind that, you know, moving forward. Alright, so I know that was a massive tangent there. I just kind of wanted to get that all out. You know, I've put some time in now to the next at least few videos. I don't necessarily have it all committed to muscle memory yet, but I will, you know, before I actually do the recordings. So hopefully I can kind of get back on par with what I was doing, you know, uploading-wise before the holidays. No promises, like I said, if I hit a sticking spot or something, that's very feasible here, considering. But, you know, I'm kind of guessing I'll be back on par with all that. And, you know, so you're probably looking at about 2, maybe 3 videos coming out a week. You know, maybe more depending on, you know, if it's a good week, or maybe a little less depending on if it's a struggle week. But again, that's about what I was able to push out before the holidays. And in the meantime, I'll be doing the Skyrim videos, and, you know, have no fear, it's not really delaying this. I mean, maybe a little, you know, but I've found kind of a system now for how I do my video processing and uploading. Those are 2 very time-consuming stages in the process. So, you know, the gameplay and all that's time-consuming already, sure, but it's the work the computer has to do with. I'm done with my part. You know, that really delays that. So anyway, I found a system to where it doesn't hold me back anymore. I've got a way to do the stuff the computer can do, and then I can go off and do other things. So basically what I'm saying is that's when I'm getting my Skyrim work in, is when the computer's when I've got that, you know, going its own way and it's not holding me up. I figured, okay, well, this is the pace I had before, so why not just go ahead and take advantage and do another game? So a lot of you folks, you know, have given me advice to maybe do another game. You know, if the Breath of the Wild videos or Tears of the Kingdom videos aren't really, you know, getting a lot of views, maybe it's time to try, you know, adding something else in there. And folks, I've listened, you know, and thank you so much for all the advice. Again, I don't really know what I'm doing on YouTube, so I'll take, you know, all the help I can get. Absolutely. There you are. Okay, so we actually could have bow and arrowed that. That's right. Alright, so you saw that waterway there with the boulders. Once again, guys, I'm going on tangents, and I'm just talking, and I'm just wandering around kind of aimlessly right now on autopilot. But go ahead and activate your travel gate, or whatever this is, terminal here. And then that'll get us going on our little adventure. Again, I'm not seeing too much else for loose lootables here. I could have sworn there was more than that. Maybe that's why I just kept walking around in circles. Alright, so once you've got all that squared away, now we can go ahead and blast through the wall here. Did I just blow myself up? I kind of had the thought I might be a little close, but yeah, it's okay. Alright, so this is a fun one, guys. I really like this Sky Island. This is one of the more fun regions anyway, because I really like the low gravity. But I just really liked this puzzle chamber here. I really enjoyed, what was it? Wow, I can't remember now. Give me a minute, it'll come to me. Skyward Sword. When Skyward Sword came out, and you know, it was open world, and you could take that sailboat, or not Skyward Sword, Wind Waker. Wow. So yeah, you could take that sailboat anywhere, and it was like, whoa, I could go to any island. It was just awesome. Anyway, yeah, it was one of the, I think it was the Wind Temple, where you had to get Melody, and you had to push all the statues around to get the beams of light going the right way. It was really awesome. So yeah, as soon as I walked up in here, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool, that was the first thing that came to mind. Okay, so right to the left, and you can actually see that in the dark. That, you know, it kind of looks like something shimmering right there. So just kind of wave that thing left to right, and that should pop up for you, and that'll shoot the laser beam straight up into the air. But before we actually do that... Okay, so from right here, we're actually going to hit an ascend point real quick and get some free loot. That's why my treasure chest pinger has been beeping constantly this whole time. And not a bad treasure chest, folks. Okay, and we're actually not done with treasure just yet. I should have thrown a seed or something over here, but I'll get one out here in a second. Yeah. Alright. So now that we're done playing Ring Around the Rosie here... Just like in the Wind Waker Temple. Alright, now, these things are kind of hard to place the way I was. Honestly, it's probably a lot easier to just go ahead and Ultra Hand them. And that gives you, you know, the wiggle room to kind of aim a little bit easier and better. Slide them around, whatever you need to do. There you have it. Okay, so once we've got that chamber lit, now there should be a baddie down here. I'm not seeing him. Oh, never mind. He's up at the top thing there. Alright. Do it to it. I guess that bow is overkill there. Alright, so last but not least. Very, very cool. I hesitate to say, I think this is actually probably my favorite Sky Island. I don't know, there's a couple I really enjoy playing. This is definitely one of them. Alright guys, now that we've got that knocked out, there's some more goodies we can get our hands on. Whoops, before I get going, I am getting way ahead of myself. So some of you might have had a feeling that this video was coming, and for some of you, you probably knew exactly why I was coming here the moment you saw the video title. And that's it right there, guys. Now I think I marked those a different way. I think I've been marking those with a star. Alright guys, so as far as Korok seed goes, there's one more, but it's actually not up here anymore. It's like underneath us somewhere. And this is that real pesky, troublesome Korok seed I mentioned earlier on. And that's why it was imperative we had our travel gate activated before coming here. Okay, so now there's a shrine here. I'm going to go ahead and activate that. I can't remember if this is just a blessing, so I'm going to pop my head in and do my thing. And awesome sauce, just a blessing indeed. Let's see what we got. 2 freaking star fragments. Alright folks, as soon as our shrine is done, go ahead and pop back out here and once again toss your 10 charges into the barrel here. Hoverstone, new item. Alright. Alright, once again make sure it is completely, yep, question mark free, good to go. Alright guys, from here, hop back on over, and it's that pesky Korok seed time. Okay, so now from here we could actually go ahead and fast travel, you know, back over here. But honestly, if you can catch that Korok seed quickly enough, and just in case you're wondering, there's really nothing down here. If you catch that Korok seed, you know, soon enough, you might be able to make this from where you're at. So let's see if I can even get there. And I'm in real good shape to make it over there, so no problemo. Now that shrine quest we started like a long time ago that you guys probably already forgotten about, that's what we're going to tackle next. And have no fear, there is a way for us to get that crystal up to where it needs to go without even having to build anything. They actually give us a device here. Super handy. And that helps us also get some real good use out of that Zonite helm we just picked up. Okay, so once again, I think he's going to be hidden. Hidden indeed. Oh, that bow's about to get toasted. Good deal. Might as well finish it off while I got it. Okay, you can probably already see all the fans lighting up around here. But honestly, we really don't need to worry about those. I think those are there just in case maybe, you know, you didn't know of this one over here, or if... I honestly don't know why there's a lot of extra fans. But yeah, they give you more than enough resources here to get where we need to go. Alright guys, so what I like to do is use this prefabricated contraption here. Go ahead and glue that bad boy down to it. And whatever Zonite pieces you've got, go ahead and, you know, get those on. And I've got 2 in my walkthrough right now, but worst case, you know, you've only got the 1, which is okay. And this thing, I like it because it's real controllable. This is real comparable to my 4 fans and a control stick design. Difference is, of course, you know, this one utilizes a lot of battery power, you know, and so did my other one, for that matter. The difference was I liked to use the, I don't know what they're called now, the large charges. Uh-oh, did I just overshoot? So... I think I just figured out why they, yeah, why they gave you all those extra fans just a minute ago. Alright, so if that happens, just simply warp back up topside, and as you can see, the crystal reset itself. So basically, there's a hard limit. If any crystal with any shrine quest gets to be, get to go too far away, it'll just reset the puzzle. So in this case, I boo-booed and I overshot my landing there, and it subsequently had to reset. Honestly, I wasn't sure if that would reset, but it did, so go us. So I guess the only real penalty is, you just waste your time a little bit. But it's comforting to know, I guess, if you do boo-boo, it's not the end of the world. You can just warp and give it another go. Now guys, make note of that light dragon that's flying around. Kind of make a mental note of this on your, on the back burner. Later on when we go to collect the Master Sword, this is a real good spot, especially with the low G head start with that concrete launcher thingy, to go get your Master Sword. And somebody actually recently asked me from my Breath of the Wild walkthrough why I never got the Master Sword. And, great question. I guess I never really talked about that a lot. I just kind of said I didn't really use it, but I never really elaborated. So basically, I'm old school. I grew up with The Legend of Zelda. 8-bit Nintendo NES. It was a great time. First video game that really ever pulled me in. It was just so fun, and, it was as open world as it got back in that day. I mean, there was nothing like it. It really made you feel like you were in a broad world, bouncing from one square to the next like that. Okay, not a bad little prize there, diamond. Nice. So yeah, from that very first Zelda video game, the Master Sword was it. Nothing ever outshined the Master Sword. And, that was just the way it was. So when it came to, Breath of the Wild, and I'm picking up, Savage Lionel gear that's amped up, attack powered up and all that, I was like, Master Sword, Master Sword who? And I just, I beelined straight for those other weapons, and that was the end of it. So yeah, again, thank you for the questions, guys. I really enjoy chatting about this stuff with y'all. Okay, now remember, you're going to be out of low gravity here in just a minute, but I'm pretty confident we can make that. So what I'm going to do is kind of go island hopping from here. So we hit that one, all from this warping point too, by the way. We've hit all these other sky islands now, which is amazing. Okay, but for now, we can go ahead and get ourselves going. So yeah, anyway, if I'm just kind of... I'm not really complaining, Master Sword was still fun. I used it a few times. I kind of liked that it didn't actually break, but it did irritate me that it did the whole run out of power thing. I'm like, okay, if it's not going to be the strongest weapon in the game, at least save me from having to go through this painful process, cooldowns and all that. So I don't know, like I said, all in all, it just felt, I guess deflating is a good word for that. To wield the Master Sword, considering, back in the old days, that was really where it was at. Here in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, yeah, we got much better stuff going on, so... just to save on the stamina, I'll start low and go high. How's that? Not only that, if you're a little farther along in your game, and you've got the Zora thing, you can actually, hit that waterfall at a lower altitude, and get up to this point... where I'm at now. Stealth clothes. Alright guys, so this is a nice little loot spot. You've got the snails, you got the stamina frogs there. Kind of irritated that I rolled up in here not thinking, and I could have scared half that stuff away. So, just keep in mind, this is a real good loot spot for some critters. And there's almost always... stamina frogs here. The snails are real hard to see sometimes, but believe it or not, that rune doesn't even light them up. I guess because it's considered underwater, The rune won't light anything up under the water, fish or anything of that nature, so I don't know. Sometimes I can get the snails to light up, but a lot of times if they're just right, they won't light up. Alright guys, now I'm going to get that chest. Assuming I don't drown myself in the process. Okay. Moving right along. Not too much else here. There is a Sage's Will coming up, so, you know, honestly, I can't remember if it was 4 Sage's Wills to upgrade a follower or 5, which is kind of why I wanted to come here, because I knew I'd get 2, so, you know, one way or another I knew I'd be good, and then that would set me straight to how many it costed, depending on how many it, you know, it took when I upgrade tool in here. And honestly, I don't know that it makes them that much formidable in battle, but it does make them a little more powerful when they actually, you know, when they actually hit something, they do a little more damage. So it doesn't make them any more aggressive or anything like that. I really wish it did, because honestly, they feel like they're kind of dead weight sometimes in combat. Yeah, every now and then they'll make you happy and they'll hit something for you, or save you from, you know, getting drilled and you didn't even see something coming. But wow, just an awful lot of the times it seems like they're just standing there wondering what to do. And I was really hoping by the time I upgraded them with the Sage's Wills that would kind of correct some of that, but it didn't. So again, it just really has to do mostly with the attack power that they actually put into the shots that they do hit. Alright guys, so just like, you know, every other island we've visited so far, we are going to get all of what we need to progress from one little chunk to the next. So that's a little dodgy. You're probably better off putting the rocket on back of the thing and not on the top of the back like I did. So like, I don't know, yeah, so like in this spot, you know, don't put it up too high. I've actually been dumped out of these things not thinking, and I can't believe I just did that, if I'm being totally honest with y'all. So one of the things that took me so long, you know, in the earlier portion of the Tears of the Kingdom, you know, before the holidays, is when I kept messing up in a video like this, I kept having these little hiccups, bloopers, whatever. I would just, you know, re-record it, you know, reload, save, redo it. And then if I kept just, you know, messing everything up, I'd reload, save, and redo it. So anyway, what I'm going to kind of do moving forward is a lot of people commented from my Breath of the Wild walkthrough that they didn't mind all that, you know, sometimes they even found it funny or whatever, and they were okay with it. So, you know, with that in mind, I am going to go ahead and just kind of let some of these roll. And if I don't feel like it's too terrible, then I'll just let it ride. We'll go ahead and leave them in video, and that'll save a ton more time in the preparation and you know, creation. And hopefully, you know, push some content out a little bit quicker. Alright, so that's really what I was going for before. Like I said, I just wasn't thinking. I was probably talking or mentally just sidetracked with something else. Alright, so more than enough distance to get that thing up and over, even though it probably doesn't look like it would even make it. I always find the insects here too, by the way. Daytime. Alright guys, as promised, Sage's Will at our disposal. And that should be number 5 in our games. Booyah. Okay, one more small leap for Link, and one more leap, giant leap for Hylian kind. So this one's going to be a little tougher to get to, and, you know, sometimes it's real deceiving what you can make it to and what you can't. But I'm pretty confident we won't make that over there even with the power of the sneeze. So what I'm going to do at this point is go ahead and get one of my little gadgets out, and that's going to give us a good head start horizontally getting over to where we need to go. And honestly, you don't need control stick or fan or anything. We're just going to kind of use this to get some forward momentum going. And we're going to turn left, so you don't necessarily have to sand center mass. In fact, you might even want to be a little bit forward leaning to get the forward momentum we need going here. Okay, so now we're going to try to level off and try to, somewhat aim toward our mark there, and when it levels off, hit it. Uh-oh. There we go. Uh-oh. So maybe you have to hit the rocket first in that case, and don't worry about the railing system. Just build that plane and rocket assembly on the flat part of that sky island, and then, hit it, and then it'll take off and go straight for a while. Then the rocket will just spawn, and then your glider should be just fine. But honestly, even with that little blunder, we were so much higher up than this one. It turns out I didn't even really need it. So on this one, I think I'm going to start high and go low. Get down and get low. And I'm going to hit this upper sky chunk for a quick Korok seed. Okay, don't forget your feet can't touch the ground there. And don't forget your Sage's Will. Now this should be number 6 in our game. Might as well get them while the getting is good. Alright folks, so there you have it. Now I'm going to head down here for some more loot. And this is why I kind of wanted to start high and go low, so I could actually just fly down to the next, and you didn't need to worry about building here. Or devices, or what have you. Okay, now I'm surprised I'm still seeing insects down here, because I thought it was a 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. thing. And honestly, guys, this stuff keeps happening, so, it seems like sometimes there's a time frame there in certain areas. And then it seems like sometimes there's not. And I think I've even said this a few different videos now. It's, I'll say, like, I could have sworn I seen beetles there at a different time of the day. And, I just kept thinking, well, I must have been mistaken, because there is this time thing, and I've read plenty about that online. I know it's not just, a myth. But again, stuff like this will happen from time to time. I'm like, okay, this time I know better, because I was getting those insects, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. this whole time. And now after 7 p.m., I'm still getting insects. So either those times are off now, or something, there could have possibly been an update. The theory I kind of have come up with more recently is maybe it's more to do with maybe some regions have that time constraint and some don't, or some spots have it and some don't. And oh my god, what a nightmare that would be, trying to map out which ones were which. But, that's the best I can come up with at this point. Alright guys, so I know it's been a while. I hope you had fun. I hope it was informative and just as thorough as all the others. I kind of feel like I'm a little bit out of practice, but, I'll get it back. So at least I've got the path forward. And like I said, I'll hopefully be able to push these out in a pace that's a little bit more comparable to what I was doing before the holidays. And then the Skyrim stuff that I'm doing, that's just kind of like in the background, and it's not really delaying anything, because, again, when it comes to, time to do video processing and all that stuff, that's really time-consuming. That's when I'm able to just get in there and knock out some fun Skyrim stuff. Alright guys, again, thank you so much for your patience. Appreciate your viewership. Best of luck to you, and happy hunting.